Hello, everybody. Welcome. We hope that you all had a great time with this jam. We hopeful that that 1 week extension was useful to all of you. We know it started off a bit short, but we figured why not give you guys time to make some of your best products. But so before we begin, I've got a couple little announcements to go through of just some forms that are pretty important that are out now or coming out today. Starting off with club elections. So, we're over halfway through this semester, which is kind of terrifying. And that means that a lot of our officer board is going to be changing hands. So, if any of you, if you're officers or otherwise, are interested in being an officer for this club next year, whether that's a named officer position, like a president, vice president, branding officer, or just as a general officer, we've got this form here that you can go ahead and fill out to nominate yourself or somebody else for the position. We'll actually host the elections about a month from now. So we're giving you guys a lot of time to get them, and this form will be available in the server later on. But if you have any interest at all, go ahead and fill this out. And if you didn't get a chance to scan it yet, don't worry. I will put it back up in just a second. Don't worry. I have a slide that has all of the QR codes that are useful. Um, Next up, t-shirt voting form. So the t-shirt contest is over, and we are between two designs. So we want all of you to go ahead and vote on what design you think is the best, and whichever one wins will be made into a new official VGDC shirt. So once again, I'll have this QR code on a later slide if you didn't get a chance to grab it. But yeah, go ahead, scan this, and make your vote, and we will let you guys know about the winners soon. Lastly, we wanted to just get some feedback from all of you. There's not too many weeks left, and so we don't have a lot of slots open for workshops. And we have a lot more ideas than we can fit in that time. So we've come up with a couple of thoughts on what things may be interesting. We wanted to get all of your feedback on what you thought would be good for a workshop this late in the semester. So on this forum, we have 5 of our biggest ideas that you can vote on, and we will give workshops on the most voted for topics. Additionally, recently, Jaden hosted the Beambo making workshop, which was outside of our normal club hours. And we wanted to get people's feedback on if they wanted to see that kind of thing more often. So if you want to give us feedback, help us improve how we're running the club, this one will link you there. And then leave this up for just a minute. This is all 3 of those. If there was any QR code that you missed, go ahead and scan it now. Give you guys just a minute to kind of go through those, and then we'll go ahead and get started with the jams. Yeah. We hope to see a lot of you signing up for the officer nominations.
Would be first years and stuff.
Yeah, and let's make this clear. I became branding officer going into my sophomore year. You don't have to be a senior to be an officer. That is not at all the case. And in fact, we kind of like it when not our entire officer board are seniors. Because this year, half of us are, and that means a lot of roles that we can't run for again. So we need a lot of new blood in there. So yeah, don't think that your grade in any way will keep you from being an officer in the club. Yes.
Can I nominate someone other than myself?
Yes, you can. You are not allowed to nominate yourself or somebody else. Yes.
What are responsibilities of the branding?
Branding and communications, I can run through them pretty quickly. We also we are going to be adding a page that makes it a little bit more clear. And additionally, in the nomination form, there's a link to our constitution, which gives the very specific in constitution definitions of each roles. But generally speaking, branding officer focuses on keeping track of our streams and the videos that we post of those, keeping track of our social media presence, and anything that is like a outward representation of our club is typically the branding officer's responsibility. It's different from the webmaster because the webmaster's job is upholding resources that are for the use of the club, where branding is setting up the resources that are used externally. Communications is communicating with different people, both at the university and people like some speakers, things like that, talking to external organizations and people for the club. Again, there's a link to the Constitution where it's more specifically set up in our form. But yeah, hope those were helpful answers. Anybody else have any questions about any of these? Do you have a question, Megan? Oh, okay, I thought you were raising your hand. All right. So it is 7:13. I think I'm gonna go ahead and pass it off now so we can start showcasing some of the projects. But yeah, thank you guys for filling these out. All of these links will be available in the server as well. So if you didn't get a chance to fill them out, but you want to, you can always look for it in there or reach out to one of us and we can make sure that you get the link to you. All right. So I believe
Is
Task Manager. Yeah, Task Manager was up first.
So this is your idea, so I think we should like say what it is.
I could explain.
So this is Ben's idea. So we took the macro, which is basically a helper, like a, and then yeah,
Okay.
please.
So we decided to take micro as in like micromanagement and macro as in computer macro, where like it's repeated inputs. So we made a game where you're basically managing tasks on like your computer, which installed a virus, and you're trying to make it not crash.
So there's bugs, and then there's the virus, which is this ominous looking one. So which level was the easiest? So you run into the bugs, and it pushes you into a mini game, and you have to quickly close out of all the with the advertisements. Why is it hard on this laptop? No, it's like I can't slide this. It's hard to slide on this touchpad. It's not meant for sliding. I'm gonna die. I'm glad you lowered the level, like difficulty, because yeah, it was like insane. It was like popping up so many. Okay, so that's the one without the macro. So the macro is the other bug, right?
But this one introduces the macro, where if that's so you can click and drag that around, and if it's over something, it'll do it for you. Was it back right? Yeah.
Oh my god.
So it's like micromanagement with macros.
It's the first time I didn't die. Okay. So this is amazing. I just want to say that, like the art and everything. This is the last one. Does anyone want to try?
Alright, so this all introduces like um things where you have to type into it. So it's like the macro can't do that because what all it does is click. So you have to like type in the thing to get rid of it.
And, oh, there's a health bar.
Yeah,
So that's
in the
actually
corner.
it's not really a health bar, but it serves as one.
It's like your memory usage,
Yeah,
and
you
if
don't
it
wanna-
fills up, you overheat your computer and die. Oh yeah, it was supposed to, but we didn't have time. Yep, that's it.
Okay.
Woohoo.
There were also more people who worked on it, like Sarah and did Ishayu work?
Yeah, he did.
Ishayu and not Nasdaq.
Noah.
Noah. And yeah, I think that's it. Yeah. So they're not here, but they also worked on this. And it was their first time contributing. So that they're not here, but they really helped a lot. So yeah.
Do you have a question?
Oh yes. Yes.
What did each of you learn?
Right. What did you lay on that?
Trinity. This is your first day. What did you learn? Yeah, I guess. I didn't end up completely finishing my part, but I was working on integrating the narrative with Rhinestone, and I never used Rhinestone before. So I guess I didn't have to do that. That was fun. For me, I did most of the art except for the like level design aspect. I did the backgrounds and all of the UI and stuff. So that was really interesting because I haven't done a whole lot of work with UI. It was fun to make. So
I mean, honestly, I didn't do much. I was trying to help Trinity. We're working together like late into the night. Like, yeah, we're like, how do we're trying to use the virtual computing lab for the first time, and
yeah,
we're like, what is happening? Like, but yeah,
that's all of them. Wait,
Yeah, for me, this was like the first project where I was like working with other programmers. So I kind of learned a lot about like organizing things and like making clear instructions that other people can follow and kind of making like templates that people can just like really quickly like I did inheritance with classes, which was cool. And like I made like a super class and then everyone inherited from that one and they didn't have to write the same code like 12 times.
recycling.
Yeah. Yeah, recycling, we did it. Yeah.
Yes.
questions? Any other questions?
What was your favorite part for each of you working on this project?
I'm so far stuff. Anytime that I get to do that, I'm having a good time.
I like meetings. It sounds weird, but I like talking about progress of, how did you like, what did you learn? The same question, kind of. But yeah, next time I want to actually like fix the yarn part. I'm definitely gonna work with you later after this to put in the like, script. So yeah, there's gonna be tutorial parts, so you know actually how to like do stuff before it throw stuff at you. But yeah, that's the user experience part. So yeah.
Yeah, I really liked pulling everyone's like GitHub branches together and kind of just seeing like it all work because like we had the groundwork all laid out and then everyone like split into their own like tasks and then it just worked, which was really nice. It's very satisfying to just like hit push, like pull the branch and then it just worked. Like almost no problems. Which is really rare.
I guess even though we're still working on like integrating the narrative and like making triggers for certain events, um, I thought it was like fun to think through the narrative, like what would the narrator say like to the player, like as Aaron's and then bugs and like how does the game start, etc. etc. Any other questions? Awesome. Yeah.
All right.
This is
Working?
Yeah,
We got it?
time now.
I think so, yes.
The last minute.
All right, so this game,
Do you want to me to play?
yeah,
First?
yeah, sure.
Let me get down here.
So this is a little bit rushed. We didn't have a full gameplay loop until about 2 hours ago. And that's so yeah, it's in a bit of a state, but there is a game there. So very nice title art here. You can click the start button. Do you want me to play with you?
We can also play
All right, Adam.
I can't
Adam, you
do
want
this-
to talk through the game?
Yeah, actually, hold on. Let me do that. Let's do play maximum.
Oh, true.
I'm saying how we
Yeah, that does me. Thank you, Haley. Also, nice haircut. I noticed.
Thanks.
Okay, let's go. All
All right. So we got to go up.
Oh, crap! I went.
All right, Adam, you want to talk about the game?
So,
went
in
all the way.
Crew, you and a friend pilot a mech from the inside.
Oh,
so, as
oh
you
Lord.
can see in the bottom left
Gotta
and
be
bottom
better
right,
at
we have
this
two
game.
I'm
platform
not good at
controllers.
games.
These are both on keyboard, and in four corners.
I can
of
play
the-
2 games. I got this, Mitchell.
In four corners of this map are buttons corresponding to the robot's limbs. So, on grassy terrain, you need to step with each leg alternatingly in order to progress. And you are racing against this other robot in the top here. Originally, the concept was that there would be monkey bars to traverse. But since we didn't get to making the monkey bars assets, cities now make you float, and you need to use four arms to move forward. And later on in this level, I'm sure we'll see a stretch of water, which is swimming. This is a combination of both walking and climbing, so you can alternate on arms or on legs in order to move. And one of the ways one of the ways in which you progress in this game is when you win a race against an enemy robot, you and your friend can add elements to the interior of the robot to make things easier. Say teleporters or additional movement options tied
Oh,
to
I'm
wall,
mirrored now.
objects. So that way, you build out the level where things can be taken more. And you continue doing this until you lose the race against this enemy AI.
Hold on. Let me switch back. So I'm getting
Which is-
confused here.
Not
The fact that you can even do this baffles my mind.
hard.
Just playing
Was.
two at once.
I was gonna say, how you play both?
Well, since they have to do the same thing,
Duncan
it's
is
not
very
as
good at
bad.
that game.
But yeah,
Very slow.
speedrunner.
Yeah.
I mean, the fact that Duncan can speedrun like Spelunky 2.
So
This game does not yet have wave dashing. There will be a Celeste dash. That was meant to be one of the modules.
You're already thinking ahead, Tommy. Appreciate it.
Would be called modules, and some would do an effect for your character, like when you interact with it, it's a whole job.
Or win. All right. Then once you've won a race,
Yeah, so the thing that you can do is this is supposed to be one of the main mechanics of the game is that you can put in these modules that will affect the map in some way. Like it's basically adding a little upgrade to your robot that lets you interact with it to do something. So this here is a teleporter. I can put one here and put another one up here. So these two are linked. And if I run over there, it's very small because we wanted to have like a zooming camera that follows where you are on the map, but we didn't have time for that. So it just shows the entire map right now. And then there is a bounce module here. If you interact with that, it gives you a boost. So it starts the second game now. If I run up here, I can just, where even am I? Okay. If I interact with that, it like teleports you between the two. And then I can go use the bounce one. Also, this guy is getting faster each time. Basically, he has 3 seconds between actions, and then every time you win a match, it's reduced by 25%. So he's a little bit faster each time. So you have an advantage by having modules to let you navigate faster, but the enemy just acts faster in comparison. So it's sort of a race against. You both get faster over time.
In a fully realized version of this game, there would also be additional buttons within the robot that would require maintenance. So in addition to having to move, you would also have to refuel the torso every now and then. Stuff like that. To keep the players focused on more things than just optimizing movement between legs and between arms.
Yeah.
So there's a lot of coordination that can be done with how you and your partner place things around the robot to make shortcuts and how you organize who's going to do what. Is there going to be a leg man? Is there going to be someone who's only doing maintenance? That's the kind of thing we want to encourage
Yeah.
in a more fully realized version of this concept.
you might be wondering, how do you keep track of your sense of space in such a wide and complex area? Well, luckily we have too many maps that are not working right now.
A different scene.
We just didn't have time to
Good job,
jump them
Nicholas.
over here. That was Nicholas. And then we also have very nice animations for the square, as you can see here. As you run it. And we definitely had time to add to the spread here. Thank you, Nyla. As animations, we did implement.
Thank you, Nyla, for this still that I added a border to for the placeholder.
Involved with the same character.
Yeah.
We had two different characters.
Yeah, we did. So Nyla did character animations for the people on the inside. Ian did a lot of the pre-rendered assets for the menus and also contributed a lot to the tiles, the background tiles that you see here.
And I designed the robots, which, yeah, originally there was a design for the other one, but last minute
Yeah.
we just got to do a
We're still going to do that design.
Yeah.
Mitchell was
It's
responsible
all-
for
all
UI
good.
and making the model that we are rendering near the top there.
Yep.
I did gameplay programming. Duncan did systems programming. Nicholas did systems programming with the minimap. Adam did programming with the camera and also did some art assets like the environment at the top of the screen.
And the UI.
And some UI. Jack did the level editor segment, the systems related to that. And I think that accounts for everybody. For now, was moral support.
Consistent.
Yeah. I think once it goes long enough, the enemy should win, and you can see the lose screen after that.
Yeah.
It's really good. We gotta
Let's
see
hope
it.
it shows
Yeah,
up.
It is really fun.
it'll get there after a while.
Any questions?
See you in the back.
That's a great question, Jack.
That's fantastic.
All right, we'll do left
can
or
find the
or-
answer.
we'll do left or right.
With the right shirt, I'll start. A lot of what I did for this project was things that I'd done before. So I didn't necessarily learn a lot of new things in their entirety. But what I did learn is I kind of just improved upon my methods for creating level creation systems. I've made them a couple of times now, and oh yeah, you are losing it. It's really good.
If you click the start button, it lights up.
And that was
But yeah, so I just kind of found ways to more efficiently make objects that like are multiple piles wide and everything, and I created them to be usable both in play mode and edit mode. I did a lot of work to try and make it more user friendly for the other programmers and designers, which was just kind of learning new ways to do some things that I'd already done before.
So I did a lot of 2D stuff, and that I guess I didn't really learn much there. I guess I got to do a mecha design, which was new. That was kind of fun. Two mecha designs actually, but yeah, one of them in the game. So and then, but the main thing I did learn was a lot of stuff in Blender. I had to mess around a lot with nodes to get the look I was going for. Um, Aseprite helped a lot with that, being able to put it in the palette that we use for the rest of the game. But it was pretty fun to learn how to pose the model that he made, and yeah, make it look kind of retro.
Yeah. I wish I could say I learned anything about 3D, but I'm a little well versed. What I did learn though is taking 3D stuff and making it 2D, as you can see up there. So I crunched it down with some pixelation in the rendering, and then I rendered out a bunch of individual like frames and turned them into sprite sheets, and now we have that animating, and that was a lot of fun. And then I also got to do some more involved UI after having worked on projects with Max and Carson, who are really good at UI and taught me a lot. So I'm happy that my skills are getting slightly better.
Did you learn anything from the music making part?
I learned how to use Ableton, and then my trial's going to run out in like 3 days. Having not made a song yet.
That first step is way harder than it sounds. I'm learning Ableton and it sucks.
It's still, I still have a lot to learn, but I know how to do some basic stuff, which is good.
DAWs just are designed to be unintuitive.
DAWs.
Yeah.
All right, Duncan.
Yeah, so I mean, I learned some of how to use Unity because I have not done a 2D project in Unity in like 6 years, probably. So it's been a while. So I definitely learned how to do that again, how to work with some of the collision, realizing that the patterns that I normally do don't quite directly translate, and figuring out how to work with that. I learned I don't like Unity as much. It's okay, but it's not my favorite. Yeah, and I also learned more so I worked with more programmers than I typically do. So somewhat of the process of integrating all of that together, because that was kind of my main role towards the end, was just putting all of this stuff together and trying to get it to work.
Yeah. In the spirit of the Recycle Jam, I just did stuff I already knew, so I didn't learn anything. A bit of a rogue like that. But in reality, every time I pitch a project and it actually gets made into a jam, I reaffirm that being creative lead on a project is very mentally taxing. It always hits me like a train. So that learning to cope with that is something that I'm still working on, and that is my main focus is trying to lead in a better way. And whether or not I succeeded, you be a judge. But it's a work in progress.
Yeah. I worked on the player animations, as you can see here. I've done it once before for a game jam this semester, but I haven't done like a jump animation before, so that was cool to learn how to do. Besides that, I didn't really learn too much differently than I known before. Yeah.
So I learned more about how to do UI, and this is the first time I learned a little more about Aseprite. I had used it a little bit before when working with Loop and Project Berserk. That's something that didn't actually, the Aseprite stuff didn't begin the game, but still, I was like, this is the first time I had to use Aseprite and then put that into the game, like official capacity. The UI stuff was actually the stuff I really had never done before. I never made main menus or pause menus or anything like that. And I thought that it was a good learning experience for me.
Jarvis, show me the pause menu. Thank you.
Alright, so for me, I worked on the mini maps, and a lot of that has to do with like the cameras in Unity, but also like managing the layers. So I kind of learned how to like manipulate the layers to get the cameras to only detect like what they need to detect and filter out any unnecessary info from the minimaps.
Cool. All right, and I believe that's everybody. Are there any further questions? All right. Well, thank you.
All righty.
Great. You don't want to run this. You really don't. You look ready to like far too much run stay.
Look, you shoot a bug.
All right. So this is Duo Protocol, possibly working title. The concept of this game, to fit into the micro macro theme, is that this is a game where you are defending a base from waves of incoming aliens. And the micro macro part is that one player is within first person walking around the area around the base, which is kind of maze-like. And the other character is a commander who has this control room where you can see the whole map and spawn in different things like supply drops for the player that'll help them, or like artillery strikes or different defenses on the base. So we can go ahead. There is a single player mode where you can swap between the two characters, but we currently you can play the FPS guy. The intended way to play it is co-op. Do we have sound up in here?
Wait, turn up.
There we go. So, Grant is the player up top, and I'm the commander on the bottom screen. So I can see his view on this little thing here. I also have a mini map I can move around, and see the little portions of this giant ass map. There's different supply crates for the player to go for, or I can use my radio to airdrop him in. Like if he wants, I'll give him a shotgun here on the north side of the base. So Grant, look for the airplane. There's going to be an airplane coming through to drop in the supply crane. So there's the crate with his supplies. I'm gonna also airdrop him in some ammo here. Um, and you can just choose.
It's probably gonna start.
Yeah, it's gonna start. So these bugs are gonna start spawning. So I'm gonna see if I can catch them before they get here.
You should miss one.
All right, yeah.
You can hear them.
They are on. There you go. The missile's dropping on them. Look up.
Missile drop?
Missile. I can also activate defenses like an electric wall right here.
Touch the wall. It's a good idea.
I actually don't know. I don't think it hurts the player. Go touch it.
Let's find out.
Oh no, it does. Yeah. So you can see like as you kill bugs and progress in the waves on the bottom here, you can see you get money, which is what you use to call in all these supplies. So I'm gonna give Grant some more guns. Here, drop one there.
Yeah, but we're meaning to implement a compass because the commander has like a compass on their map, but it's kind of hard to communicate to the soldier like, oh, the north side of the base.
Yeah,
that's kind of spelling.
There's a lot of things we could add to this, but I think I'm pretty pleased with how it came out. We kind of got our minimum viable product for the most part. The game ends when you see this base health that the commander can see down here gets to 0, which happens from the bugs attacking the base.
And you can use the downtime to go and explore. There's like supplies that you can pick up for free that are marked on the map.
Yeah, it's basically caches of weapons and ammo for the player. I'll turn it down a little bit. I'm gonna do another missile on these homeboys. Got him. We also have this like for world building, this codex here that the player can read, which has info on the different alien types, which currently there's only 2. And then also you can read the controls here since there's a lot of them. Especially if you're playing single player and jumping between the 2 characters. But yeah, our team was me and Grant did programming for this. Jaden and Daniel were our 3D modelers. Camden did music, and Jack actually designed the level that we're playing in, which you can see the top view of here. And there's also part of it looks like a snake, if you didn't catch.
I'm lost. I went looking for some supplies. I'm lost. Oh, there we go. Shouldn't- I kind of like how you can hear me far off.
Do the enemy corpses ever disappear?
They do. I dropped a firebomb, but I was too late.
Did you do iPad?
Yeah.
Oh, so Grant, the reload.
I mean, that's nice.
So now Grant's dead. So I can survive on my own, but I can also pay money to resurrect him.
You only got the pistol.
But yeah, you lose all your weapons if you die as the player character.
Very much, bro. Very much.
That's a tasty, right?
They eating it. They eating these bullets, bro.
They're like a quarter.
Alright,
It's fine.
but yeah.
I was in on top of that. Maybe.
Yeah, I might have dropped it in the wrong place. But yeah, do any of y'all have comments on this?
Understand your like the amount of points you have with them. So
It's down there. See the balance.
how do you get more items?
Killing bugs and also whenever you pass a wave, you get more points. Let's show off the turret.
Does it radio in like where the player's standing?
Sorry.
Does it like does it like radio? So like when you radio in something, how
I'm
do you
gonna
like
give you. So this map has a grid of a ton of tiny buttons on it. And each of those buttons, I hard-coded the location of the top left button, and those buttons basically do some math where they just multiply a constant by like the row and column they're in. And that's about it. There's definitely like I don't know what the smart way to have done this was in the 3-week game jam when I had a bunch of other mechanics to implement, but it felt like that was smart enough because I was able to, after we built the system, I could very easily like change the direction of the graph or like the amount of things in the graph and how much they basically move it by. All right, I activated a turret on the east side, so if you want to trail them over there. Oh, it's trying to shoot. Oh shit, we died. Okay, we died, and we have a high score function, so we got to wave 4. What's up, Aaron? Oh, sorry. Yeah.
How come it's only local there and not online?
I didn't
That's
feel
a
like
different
it.
brand.
Also, like, make friends in real life. It's not that hard.
Yeah.
Haley.
I was curious about the different aspect ratio for each player.
So we originally were gonna go with like we obviously are splitting the screen. So we were originally gonna go with 16 by 4 by 3 by 4.5 for both players, which it just felt really wide. For the commander, it feels appropriate, but for the player, I found it to be really distracting to have an extremely wide thing, and also having your health bar and your like weapon inventory HUD be able to be displayed a little more close to the center, I thought was advantageous. The commander I think he warrants having a larger aspect ratio because you have more things you can be looking at horizontally. But yeah, I mean, if you play single player, there's like remnants of that still, but which one's player one? This one. Yeah, so this is the single player. You can just swap between them freely. Um, which is less ideal because you can't be like dropping stuff
Yeah.
while also fighting them. What's up?
Since we lose whenever the base health reaches 0, is there any difficulty? Is like our max wave? Or...
Nah, it's a pure survival.
Oh,
Yeah.
Make number big.
Yeah.
Number
Adam.
What did you move up?
I did a lot of stuff that I've like done before. It's just generally getting more efficient at implementing things quickly in Unreal, which I don't necessarily think makes me a better programmer, but it makes me know things, I guess. But I also had to mess with Unreal's input and UI systems. I guess every project I do, I have to mess with those a lot more, unfortunately. But I learned a good bit about that.
I did a good bit of like the UI, so I'm definitely feeling a lot more comfortable with Unreal widgets and stuff like that. And I did the turret, which was kind of nice to do raycasting. Most of the time I've done like projectile based shooting before. So that was kind of nice.
I did all the art for like the commander. I've done 3D art before, so I didn't really like learn anything there. But what I did learn was the whole Blender to Unreal pipeline, which you'd think would be drag and drop, but I had so many unforeseen issues. But we got it all on my branch and didn't have to tell anyone about how horrible that was. It only Unreal. I also learned Unreal's material system, which only crashed my computer 4 times and only blue screened me once. So I know. Thank you. The CRTs are supposed to have like this like static effect. That unfortunately we forgot the blueprint start media player. So womp womp. But
It'll get added in the next few days.
that was something to learn. It's just because they make it very hard just to play a video.
I made the arms. Yeah.
These.
I worked at more with rigging and I guess making a good arm rig, but I think the IKs got messed up somewhere along the thing, but that's okay.
I worked on music and a couple of the sound effects. Most of the gun sounds are stock that we found because I ran out of time. But I did composition wise, the music for this wasn't too much different than what I'm used to doing. It's very much in the normal kind of bandy orchestra world that I kind of grew up in.
Sorry. Go ahead. I was just gonna say that was the turret in action that we were talking about.
Nice. But I did do more for the in between song, for the wave cooldown song in Ableton and automating the bass part in that. It kind of has like a little, which is like hard to describe you in any way other than that. But it does, and you can't do that in Notation Engine, and you can do that in the DAW. So I learned how to do that in the DAW. So that's cool. And time management just in general, because I did a lot of this last night. But it worked.
I don't know how much I learned. I just did a maze. So I mean, hopefully it works properly. But like the idea was for the bugs at their spawn locations to be relatively similar distances away. In the time it takes them to get to the center, so that you have more of just like bugs constantly coming in, at least when the wave activates. And then also for it to be dangerous to go and get a supply cache and commit time to that. So not quite learning to do.
Nice.
I think you can like 1 or 2 more questions.
Duncan.
When you're playing single player and you're big commander, is the like soldier still there, like able to be attacked, or
Yeah. Yeah, I mean it's we used Unreal. Basically the thing with Unreal is it has pawns, which are actors. An actor is something that can be placed in the scene. A pawn is an actor that can be controlled. And because Unreal has their controllable characters separated out like that, they also have player controllers. So I just take the player controller from the first person player, unpossess that guy, and possess the other one. So and then just back and forth. Yeah. So that's the thing is like I made the choice to when you're playing in two players, you can still see the yeah. All right. Now he's dead. We get to see his last sight of reality.
This is what you see before you die.
So yeah.
Eating him.
Haley.
That 7 like segment display, is that a font that you guys are using for like the swarms?
Yes.
Yeah.
That's just a font that's
Yeah, I'm just changing the text. Yeah.
We did not
It is a floating UI widget in the real world that has a text block in it. That's it. Any other questions? Okay.
All right.
All right. Don't. I want to show. This is our game, Crash the Market. Yeah, it's like a 2D kind of beat 'em up style game. Oh yeah, the way we incorporated like the micro macro aspects is you'll see it in the game, but we involved micro and macro economics. And yeah, I'll explain later on how that functions. And we also incorporated micro macro through the use of like enemies. So like the enemies will first start off like small, but they'll get bigger in size until you get to the boss, who's the biggest. He's pretty big. But yeah, this is our title screen. You guys can look at it in all its glory. I suggest you guys look over in this direction. This one's my personal favorite right here.
Okay, reset. Okay, so this right here,
This is yeah.
and then go here. So, here is now we're in like the kind of combat state here where you can do your
Still on the computer.
Okay, so it's where you can do like your attack stuff. Now, as you can see on the top, there's a mirror that goes up and down depending on your actions. So if you do something that's like attack based, the supply meter will go up. But if you do something like more movement based, like dashing or jumping, then it'll go down the other direction and kind of move like that. So this is just our first, manager. This is where you first start fighting. If you want to explain, if you want to explain the lore.
So the idea behind like the storyline, we didn't have enough time to incorporate like the dialogue, but the story of the game is you're a Japanese businessman and you're a finance broker for a company, right? But you want to quit the company to work at your dream job, Golden Dragon Chinese restaurant. And there's only two ways to leave the company though. You either get fired, which gets you killed, or you work your way up the building until you beat up the CEO, and only then you can walk away a free man. But, yeah. So we have a couple different enemies. So the first enemy was the baby, the boss baby.
It tabbed out. I don't.
We're gonna.
What? Well, that's the game over screen.
This really was the crash.
Why did it? I don't. Hold on. I don't know why it tapped out.
So the baby in the suit's supposed to represent Harvard business students. But yeah, they're pretty harmless. They don't do any damage. That's our intern. He spits coffee at you. He's been an intern for a while. He's an unpaid paid intern. I replaced paid with unpaid.
looks good allegory.
That's the whole thing for you.
Is this truly
It's supposed to be random, by the way.
the odds, or are we not ready?
You guys are beating the odds, I guess.
Yeah.
So that's our third boss. He's the big bad businessman, right? And he's kind of a derivative character because if you look at whenever he sends out an office chair, there's a little arm that comes out behind him. Oh, it's supposed to represent Josuke.
No,
It's just like a stand. So, but he's pretty big. He has like the hairstyle. And you're beating up. He has a lot of HP. But the way, again, like I said, the way we incorporated micro and macroeconomics was through that bar at the very top, right? And so you have to maintain equilibrium in order to be at your strongest. So you have to balance your movement and attacking abilities.
Oh, yeah,
You're like
that's-
checking your stock portfolio while you're
Yeah.
Yeah.
I can show this like right. Oh well, I guess it's the final floor, but
So this is where the CEO abides. Yep.
Oh shit! This is bullshit.
You can explain some of the mechanics.
oh yeah. So the dash here will like make you invincible. As you can see, I'm kind of like dashing past some attacks. But see, when my meter's all the way towards one end of the screen, if I try to dash now, it's like much shorter, and my jumps are much shorter as well. And you can't see it, but your attacks also do much less damage.
The animation style is amazing.
Yes.
Our artists.
How do you reach, or how do you like build up you just wait?
So when you punch, if you can see like attacking stuff moves up the supply, and then dashing and jumping moves up the other command. So
This is all I think.
Yeah, he's sleeping around. Girl, this one time. Never played.
Carry on.
Never played.
Never crashed into the market.
and that's the end.
Love that.
That's what you get when you beat the game. Freedom.
Freedom.
Please screensaver, bros.
Oh.
You're not going to need to know.
I think it's everything right. Okay, I think that's. Okay, you should go back to the title screen because I think that's the funniest thing ever.
Okay. I have to Alt F4. I remember this was
Challenge me.
Left to right, you go.
right. What was there a question? I was thinking that
Hardest challenge.
The biggest challenge that each of you like faced. Like, what was the thing that made you go like, oh, and then when you got it, you're like, yes.
Ooh, okay, so probably just trying to working with all the different rooms and like with like having a scene manager and then having like the player manager and having all that stuff and managing all the states. Like sometimes things would break or not work the way I wanted to, so then I have to go back rewrite stuff. And sometimes I get lazy and hard code things, and then I have to go back unhard code it. And yeah,
Yeah, okay. So for me, I did the art for the project. So a lot of the biggest challenge was just like, well, making everything. So like we have like a bunch of like enemy types, so I have to have a design for each of them, and then like some amount of an action, like a death animation, some idle stuff, and it was just a lot, just in a really short amount of time.
It's all really good though.
Thank you.
I'm gonna be honest. I was probably like the least like I guess technically useful of the group. I was kind of the ideas guy. I came up with like the whole concepts and everything and like the lore and everything, all that. But in reality, I really didn't do much. I just kind of sat there and I gave like
you managed everything. I mean, you answered questions and stuff. You're pretty
yeah.
Waiting for design.
Yeah.
I guess, but like I guess technically wise, I was just like making sure that everybody was like, trying to incorporate some of the ideas that I had, maybe listening to their feedback, see what we can incorporate and come to a compromise. Yeah, I think that was like probably the hardest thing.
You also say about it? Sounds to a good design.
I helped with the music, so
No, I worked on like basically everything you hear. We didn't add like all of it though, since we didn't have much time. But
I guess it was pretty hard to like learn how to use the audio software and just like try to find the way to edit things and make it like work with the animations.
He was our sound guy.
And I was enemy programmer. I guess getting the enemy, like base enemy set up was kind of hard, but once I had that down, it was pretty easy to just, when making new enemies, just use the base enemy.
Why is there special? Because it was like the time you got locked out with Japanese, and you were like waiting for like 5 minutes.
And then also, I think Parker can attest to this. We had a lot of fun with merge conflicts.
Yeah.
So,
Merge conflict.
so we learned how to deal with that though. So
Yeah.
Yeah.
Let's not work on the same file at the same time.
I'll go with you.
What was y'all's favorite part of the project, or like, I guess your like favorite thing that you like did?
I think we go. Let's use you
Like,
again.
if you guys, you can give like a group answer too, or something like that.
I think we all individually
have our
own things. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I just thought like what's fun part of the project? Probably just everything coming together. Like once we got the sound and the art and then the programming and just like taking everything, putting it together, and it's just like, oh, this is like a full, complete thing, from beginning to end. Even though we weren't able to like add everything that everyone created, it is still like a complete thing. So.
Yeah, my favorite thing that I liked designing was the CEO. Like it was the most unique out of the whole cast of characters.
Honestly, my favorite part of the whole jam was like just seeing this come to fruition, like something that I kind of imagined, and I was just like, wow, this is like it's all coming to like kind of how I like imagined it would. And another thing that I really enjoyed was like especially like sitting down with each like the audio and visual aspects. So I would sit down with like JB and we would just go over ideas of like, oh, we should add this to the character design, or maybe have a concept art that I like sketched out really poorly, and he's like, okay, I can work with this.
Like he like made the title screen like a
Yeah.
concept art. The title screen was like
Yeah. It was just like stick figures, and then he comes up with this. I don't know. And then with music wise, I just kind of roll with whatever Jackie does. I'm like, yeah, I can work with that. And we just like come together, and it's like, oh, what if we do this? Blah blah blah. And we're just coming together and creating new things. It was really fun.
I mean, I did just enjoy like getting everything to work together. Everyone works on their own part and what we like kind of specialize in, and then making it all come together to make like the entire like product.
I know three people have already said this, but I enjoy seeing it come together. Yeah, I mean,
For fun.
everything works really nice.
Yeah. Yeah. Other question. I think somebody over here had a question. I guess you. Yeah.
Yeah, not used to seeing a lot of Game Maker projects. Was that in Game Maker?
Yes.
Is there anything positive or negative you guys want to say about Game Maker?
I love Game Maker.
We definitely made a game.
Yeah.
What are those pillars? When you get the CEO room.
The pillars?
The
I
CEO
think it was
boss
just-
fight. They're the pillars background.
I think it was just like the city. The city.
Yeah.
Just a very
Yeah, the
awesome-
CEO lives on the roof. Any other questions? Honestly, I'd like to think that this title screen was just like what we've done throughout, like everybody on this whole like team. Like I'd like to think this is the culmination of what we've done throughout the entire jam. All of the memes that we've like posted, some of the stupidest ideas we had. I think like my favorite one was what the Sigma. I think that was the funniest thing we ever like did. A lot of this was just like really goofy doodles. Some of these, a lot of these were like old projects, some memes. You know, that was easily one of my favorite parts of the jam. But yeah, we kind of like JB did a lot of slave work, unpaid.
I am the intern.
Yeah, he really. Props to him. He drew everything, like everything, and animated it on top of that. So that's a lot of work, especially for one individual.
It's super good.
Yeah, and it all has its like own unique style too. I'm just like,
It all runs like so smooth. Like the program, like shout outs to the enemy programming. It all came together very well. Also, the concept like micro macroeconomics is so good.
I love the bar at the top.
Yeah.
Any other questions?
This is fine.
The problem is that I don't like Slack.
We're back to where we were. Everything is fine.
Oh, we're so down.
We're
We're so big.
Wait.
Okay, Claw's in here. So that was a build. Wait, where did everything else go? Wait, they're just loading in.
It's
Yes, intended.
Going items around. So I think the turn will be one round, and I think there's 4 rounds. So it's right. Get points by dropping items into the price chute. Other player item them into the price chute, and you steal their point. You know.
I did.
I'm gonna need one of you to throw the other player. That's part of the process.
Someone already threw me. I don't know where that. This isn't fair.
Now the claw will rotate to the next player, and we'll keep going until at the end, whoever has the most points wins.
No. This is very.
But yeah, currently there are 4 rounds in this game. Everyone gets a turn as the Claw. Let's have a little development shortcut to skip round if we want to show off just that side of things.
Am I just gone for? That was what happened to me last time.
Damn, no. So you did not just say you're gone forever.
I'm gone for.
Oh, time.
A year later.
Oh, I don't know why it happens.
I know that's good of mine.
3 points.
Did you pick us both up? We picked us both. You're just cleaning house.
All right. Well, everyone respawns at the end of the round. So that part's at least kind of fixed. Wait, I shouldn't be doing that. Okay. Well, we've gotten a good idea behind. So I love it. Okay.
This is great.
We're gonna blaze into the end.
We won't reach the end. So
Just go.
I'm just gonna press this button until.
Yay!
All right. Yeah, this is One Claw Nation is what we decided on.
Yeah.
I don't know what we did.
Claw Machina. Hooray!
How did you fix the physics?
I
saw the test build.
So this was my first time using Unreal Engine, and I'm sure it's nice once you know how everything works, but it kind of treats its physics system like this holy relic you should never, ever, 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 ever mess with. Just work around it, or suffer the consequences. I spent so long trying to figure out why certain collision things weren't working. And I had to, like, at one point, like, with the player character, reparent all of its components, because for some reason, like, they were moving independent of each other despite being children of each other. I wasn't sure why. But yeah, there was a lot of, weirdness with that I still have a lot to learn about. Maverick.
If people grab her at the same time, what happens?
Okay, so this...
Show the clip.
So we have a clip.
Look for like videos sent by me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm gonna.
We can take a question.
Yeah.
Is your question? I can have a question. Yes.
Yes.
How did you get Nintendo's permission to get the question block in there? What do you mean?
What
That's
permission?
that's
What-
ours.
the Lucky
That's
Block from
our
Minecraft?
idea.
What's that?
Just put a question mark on a yellow cube. Wait a minute, like,
No.
Oh, Nintendo.
So this is no longer possible.
This is yeah.
I'll clarify this. It's just the first person whose grab is detected, basically, will be the one who has precedence here.
This was the old.
But
I remember.
and I can explain why in a second. There were a lot of amazing moments like this.
You want to show some of the other?
Yeah, we can show some of the other ones. But basically what's happening is they both grab each other and they're both moving each other to above themselves. So because they're trying to carry each other. And this just keeps happening. But yeah, let me scroll. Right now it's not even necessarily a coin flip. Everything is ordered, so it's just whoever comes in first. I can't remember which one this is actually. Oh, yeah. Where is
I think it's more recent.
Because
You're back pretty far. Yeah, this is.
oh, this is it. This is it.
Oh wait.
Okay. This is a fun one.
Just going over all the scary bugs with it.
There were. We had. What is this one? I don't remember. Oh. Yeah. So they were playing with themselves. Just. Oh, that's you're like we're ready for a build, boys. I think we're ready for a build. So I don't remember which all were all the funny ones, but I think those are the highlights. We had some really fun moments with bugs with involving collision and people carrying objects and stuff.
And each other.
And each other. So I learned a lot about that to answer Mitchell's question preemptively. But I mean no. But like if you had to ask any question, what would it be?
If I had to ask any question, what would it be the same question I asked the ask team, which is what was the most challenging thing that you ran?
Can I go first?
You can go first.
So we had a little difficulty in the process. We had a little issue. Someone didn't close Unreal when they switched branches and stuff. That sounds like a little. I think it was WinRAR.
I think it was WinRAR, yeah.
Say any names, but they did. I did set up. They set us back a little bit, but
Yeah.
not that much. We were able to fix it.
We were able to fix things by pulling things from other branches, and a lot of the things that were missing were just like materials and stuff.
Yeah, I just grabbed.
So those were easy to just get back into our original assets and set back up. Thankfully. But yeah, we learned that GitHub is also a beast that you should not play naughty with, or else suffer the consequences. Unreal Engine does not like it very much, it would seem. But yeah, so that was probably one of our largest sort of roadblocks. Other things like I was talking about earlier, just like get familiarizing myself with the nature of Unreal Engine's like physics system and everything. And like how players like can be controlled and how multiplayer works and having players control each other. And there's still issues with players despawning in the middle of a match and just not respawning until the next one. Now, at least that happens. Yeah. Which means I fixed something. But yeah, lots of interesting stuff from that part. Do we have anyone else? Any big challenges, roadblocks?
The component hierarchy and the props was, I remember.
Oh yes,
Yeah.
the component hierarchy with the different props, because they all have different colliders that they need, and some of them do slightly different things, which made organizing things in a way that they could be grabbed by everyone also a little bit of a challenge. Which it all comes back to collision really with this game. because this was a very like we're constantly engaging with that system. Um, but yeah, outside of that, um, most of the challenges were just a lot of people gaining experience with new stuff. Like we're using Unreal Engine, at least for me, for the first time. Some of us are working with each other for the first time. We're using different software for art, and I think Landon isn't here. He did the music. I'll go ahead and give him a shout out for that. Unfortunately, he can't make it tonight, but he was trying with some different techniques in music. He was doing some stuff he doesn't normally do, and I'm really proud of what he actually made. It was really good. Uh,
Mitchell did the call too.
and Mitchell did the claw. Yeah, you should be up here.
Got my chance in the spot.
What'd you learn, Mitchell?
What I learned, I learned physical animation stuff from Unreal, so it's all plotting.
Yeah.
Okay, any more questions?
No more questions. Okay. All right. Thank you all for having us.
Hello, everyone. We are Signer Die, and basically, we took micro, macro in kind of the economic terms as well, and we thought taxes. Yes, that's what we wanted with the game about. But but also we also incorporated it in the fact that you are basically taken over by this new tax application and you are stuck to your chair and you're just seeing your computer screen and your notes, and then your consciousness is controlling this little mouse pointer stick figure in the game. So you're here macro, and then but then the little guy you're controlling is micro. Does not want to do full screen. Do you agree to terms of service? Yes. Yeah. So basically, lore before you get started, you're pulling up to your desk. No more miscalculating the fancy carpet tax on your cat's penthouse in the Grand Cat Tower, ready for that new application. And then it finally loads, but then you see some big letters pop up on your screen. Fill out the forms correctly, and we will release you. Sign or die. Yeah. So this is basically it. You use WASD to move. And you can jump with spacebar. And you also use E to interact. So if on this question, if I wanted to, I'll just do E here. And you're also supposed to have notes on the notepads. Right now it just has lives, but in order to like really answer these questions, the puzzles, there should be some notes there as well that could be added. Yeah. Thank you. And you don't want to hit that because that gets rid of one of your lives. Oh no. Yeah, so and then some of the things that didn't get incorporated were some of Kyle's level art, and it was really good. It just didn't get incorporated in time, sadly. So, and after you've answered all of those, you don't know if you've answered correctly or not. But you're able to get this pin here that will allow you to sign at the bottom. There's your signature. Isn't it so beautiful? It's great. And then you can go down here and accept, and you can see, did I do it right or wrong? And you did it wrong. So you can either try again or not. Yeah. Questions? Yes.
What did you learn? Where did you learn?
This was my first time doing more of a producer role, so I learned a lot about communication across team members and getting to a final product, and also a little bit about delegating. This was also my first time doing background art, so I just kind of learned like generally about background art as opposed to like character art and stuff like that. So.
I learned like UI and like interactions. One of the hardest parts was the scroll wheel. You can't scroll right now, but once you get to the bottom, you can scroll and it'll move the camera up or down.
I guess I'm next. This is the first game I've ever actually worked on, so every single step of it was something new for me, all the way from how to work GitHub, installing Unity, the whole 9 yards. In terms of what was actually done for the game, I was in charge of level design, and 2 levels were designed, but there were some issues with the second one that couldn't get resolved in time. So right now we just have the 1 level.
Yeah, and I worked on character animation mainly, because that part I'm kind of used to. I wasn't integrating that, but I had a good bit of fun, I guess, working with Jamon and seeing how we tried to, I guess, like integrate the character. And from there, we kind of just did a lot of debugging back and forth, fixing colliders, and a lot of exposure there on the different colliders and how they interact with one another to their community.
I did the menu screens. I took more of a supporting art role, sort of helping where I could. I learned that I need to do perspective practice really, really badly because those letters on the envelope murdered me for hours.
This was my first game, and I did some art for the level design, but that wasn't integrated in time. But I enjoyed making it.
This is I worked with the Fall Game Jam, but besides that, I have basically no experience programming. I decided to try to be a programmer here, which I didn't really contribute very much because I was busy the entire time and I didn't have much experience with programming. But I learned a lot about C#, so I can at least read C# now, which is cool. And then I learned about a lot of just like working with Unity and making things not delete each other.
Yeah, so I mostly did the music. I also did the writing. So, learning how to do annotation software was pretty interesting. But yeah, it was very fun to learn. And this was also my first jam, so.
Any other questions? Yes.
What is the lives for? I don't actually like. I don't know if it does it change with like whenever you fail or something like that, or
Yeah, so basically, you get lives for whenever you run into basically right now there are red lines, and you'll get a life off, and you're also supposed to not get an immediate game over when you submit a form incorrectly. You're supposed to just restart that current level, so it's also and you just get a life off, so it's also kind of helpful to keep you in your place without a huge punishment of like, okay, you're starting the whole entire game over instead of, oh, okay, you're just starting like level 4 or 5 over since you answered some stuff wrong, but you still did all the platforming correct. So they kind of function that way. But right now it goes automatically to a game over screen if you answer stuff incorrectly. Yes, Mr.
Would there be a way for you to get more lives? I don't know how far you guys designed this out.
Yeah, we did have highlighters designed that you could pick up that you could get more lives, but that was not integrated. And there was also collectibles of like tax lawyer cards that were also not integrated in time. So, yeah.
Yeah.
So I noticed that you can pay for insurance. Is Mariana's insurance covered in that?
Well, see, we think there would be a whole level and a whole nother form dedicated to the insurance because it's so important. But yeah. All right. So, any more questions? Okay.